So this is a Jackery Explorer 1000, and it will run my mother's fridge for about 12 hours continuous, or if you do like 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, you can get 2 or 3 days of keeping your fridge cold so you don't lose your food. Now, to set up this to use it easily, you want to buy an appliance extension cord, this gray guy. So you unplug your fridge from the wall, you plug the appliance extension cord into the wall, and then you plug the fridge in the appliance extension cord. And that way, you can have these cords come out from behind the fridge so that when the power drops out, it's very easy. This guy would lose power, so you unplug your fridge from it, you plug it into the solar battery. They call it a solar generator. It's really just a battery bank. And then you have to turn it on, so you just push and hold the power button until the green light turns on. You can see we had it at 74%. If you knew a hurricane was coming, you'd probably charge it all the way up to 100% before you put it away. And then to turn on the AC power for these outlets, you just hit that button, green light turns on, and now your refrigerator is being powered off of this guy. Now, you can run it continuously, but what I recommend for the longest cooling in your fridge is that you run it for a few hours until the fridge compressor turns off. And you'll know the fridge isn't running its compressor when the output number goes down. So here, our fridge is a relatively energy efficient Energy Star fridge, and it's only taking like 150 watts to run the compressor. So when that drops down to like 10 or 15 watts, you know that the compressor is turned off, the fridge is down to temperature. When that happens, you can just turn it off. Either just the AC, if you're using the other outlets for like charging cell phones or anything like that. It also has a light, so if you need a light, the light is nice to have. There's low, high, and there's a flashing mode. Or if you don't need the DC ports and the light, you could just turn off power to the entire unit. Push and hold until the light turns off. So you do that for a couple hours in the morning till it's down to temperature, and then like in the evening you turn it on again, run the fridge for a couple more hours. And if you do that, depending on how energy efficient your fridge is, this guy can run for multiple days on your fridge. Now, if your power is out for longer than 1 or 2 days, you need to find a way to recharge this. So that could be driving to a friend's house who has power and plugging it in at the friend's house. It could be taking it outside and plugging it into a solar panel. So we had a kit that came with a 200-watt solar panel, and this guy here, it was on a deal for $650. You can buy extra solar panels if you want to charge it faster. So if you take this guy outside, and if it's sunny after the hurricane, it usually is sunny, you plug in the 200-watt solar panel, keep it pointed at the sun, it'll charge itself back up in an 8-hour day. So you can essentially run your refrigerator indefinitely off the sun as long as it's sunny outside. Now, we actually have 2 of these, and so we have 2 panels. And so with 2 panels plugged into one of these, because it has, an AC outlet inlet, you just charge it off the wall, you have power, and it has 2 solar panel inputs. So with 2 200-watt solar panels on this guy, it'll charge in about 3 to 4 hours. So when your power comes back, all you have to do is unplug this guy from the solar battery and plug it back into the appliance extension cord. And once you're plugged back into the home power, you can try to put these guys out of the way back there. You can still grab them and pull them from the side there and be ready for the next hurricane. And of course, you probably want to charge this guy up either using your solar panels or by plugging it into the wall with the provided cord. So for long-term storage, I'm going to charge this guy up until it hits 80%, and then I'm going to turn it off and just store it in the garage. And the reason for that is to extend the lifetime, the calendar life of the batteries. So you don't want to leave it sitting at 100% for a long time without using it. So right before a storm is predicted to hit, we plug it in to charge it up to 100%. And then if we lose power, we'll have the full capacity. So if we don't lose power and it's at 100%, I'll typically just plug something into it until it goes down to 80% and then store it at 80%. So if you have power, you just plug this into the wall with the provided cord. It charges at like 800 watts by default, and it'll charge in like an hour and a half. And in the app, there's actually a high power charging mode where it charges faster than this. They limit it to 800 watts just because that way the batteries don't overheat and get extra warm. If you're in an emergency where you're like taking this to a friend's house and you don't want to run the generator for too long or something like that, you can go into the app and set it to high power charging mode. And I think it gets up to like 1,000 watts charging speed. So it just charges a little faster if you have plenty of power. So the display will turn off after a timeout period. You can adjust the length of that timeout period in the app, or just push the power button, just a tap on it, and the screen will turn back on. So this is the Jackery Solar Saga 200 watt panel. You can see I have a little shadow indicator there almost in the center circle. It's only 10:22 a.m. so we're not full solar illuminated, but decent amount of light. And we're getting 160 watts of input, 162, so close to that 200 watt rating. So, you know, it's pretty acceptable for a solar panel at 10 a.m. in the morning. So it's about 10:30 a.m. I have two of the Jackery Solar Saga 200 watt panels pointed at the sun and plugged in. They're both plugged into this Jackery Explorer 1000, which has, you know, two panel inputs there. So our input, you know, 400 watt rating, we're getting 315 watts in. Going to take 2.5 hours to charge it up from 40%. You know, so it's pretty close to the ratings there. As the sun gets higher in the sky, that might go up a little bit. So we're probably never going to get a full 400 watts, but we get close to it. So using the legs to point it directly at the sun gets you a little extra power. But you can see here as the sun gets overhead, you can just lay these guys flat. We're still getting 309 watts. Now, you ideally don't want things covering the solar panels like this grass. And a little bit of dust isn't going to kill anything. Really, the only maintenance that you could do is dusting these guys off to make sure there's not any dirt or grass on top of them. So, you know, anything that gets in the way of the sun is not what you want.